What is up, guys? German with everything iDevice, and welcome to another episode of RetroArch tutorial. This is episode 2. If you guys haven't seen the first one, be sure to check that out because this might get a bit confusing for you. So I'm gonna go right where I left off in the last episode, and we're just gonna jump in the iFile first because I kind of made some new folders, and I think you guys would want to do this just because it'll keep things a lot more organized for you, and it would benefit you quite a bit. So in the last video, I had you guys create the ROMs folder. So off camera here, I went into the ROMs folder and I created folders within there for the different ROM files to be stored in for depending on which game system. So as you can see, I created Atari, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. And again, the way you create a folder is to go ahead and click Edit, and then down in the lower left-hand corner is the plus symbol. So you go ahead and name it, just put in like whatever, Nintendo, leave it as a directory type. You don't have to touch anything else, and then go ahead and click Create, and that will create you a Nintendo folder. And like I said, it's just to store the specific ROMs for the specific emulators, because as you do like 20, 30, 40 or more games, it's going to get to be quite a mess within the ROMs folder, and this will help you keep things a lot more organized, and you'll see how it will benefit you within RetroArch itself, because I'll get to that in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and just exit iFile. I just want to show you guys that, and I'd recommend you doing it. Now in this video, I'm actually going to be downloading a Game Boy Color game, and I'll be demonstrating it on RetroArch to show you how it works. On a side note, for everyone that's asking me to do the Nintendo DS emulator, it might be a few videos until I can do that because I'm having issues with the audio and video with the actual core itself. I've tried out like 5 different games and it just doesn't want to work correctly. So I'm talking to the developer and hopefully it can figure it out. And until then, I won't create the tutorial until it's running properly because it's kind of pointless otherwise. So what we're going to do is go ahead and download a ROM, and I'm going to show you how to install it and use it within RetroArch. So the first thing we're going to do is go into Cool ROMs, go ahead and let it load up, and we're going to browse for a ROM file, and you select your console. We're going to do Game Boy Color like I said, let it load. You can browse by letter, browse by genre. You do have the top 25 downloaded, and then down here you do have the top 25 rated. So in this video we're going to do Zelda Link's Awakening, and then here is the actual ROM. Scroll down and you will see the download now. Go ahead and select that. And then here's where you select its destination. So as you can see, I have it set on the ROMs folder. Yours is probably going to be different for the first time you guys open up Safari Download Manager. And since this is a Game Boy Color game, I'm going to go ahead and select Game Boy Color, click Choose, and then click Download. As you can see in the download section, it's already done downloading. It's a fairly small file. So now we can exit out of Cool ROM, go back into iFile. You must do this in order for the ROM to work because it's zipped up as a zip file. So we're going to go into Game Boy Color, and then here is Zelda Link's Awakening. Go ahead and select it, and you need to use Unarchiver, which is going to unzip the file. It should finish with a code 0. That means it worked. And then as you can see, there is the actual ROM.gbc, which is Game Boy Color file. You can go ahead and delete the zip file and delete the README. You do not need those. So just keep the .gbc or .gb, which is Game Boy, or whatever ROM it is that you're using. So we're done in iFile. That ROM is ready to be played. So now we can go ahead and go into RetroArch, and then as you can see, here's my ROMs folder, and then here is all those folders I created, so you can see how that's going to benefit you. This is really an advanced emulator. You have full control over it, and that's what I like about it because there's so much to it. So we're going to go ahead and select Game Boy Color, and let's play Zelda. And as you can see, it gives your suggested core right there, so we can go ahead and select this. Now, as you guys can see, I have a button layout going. For all these different emulators within RetroArch, you have to set up your own button layouts, which is a bit tricky, so that's why I'm going to try and cover most of them. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and select, there's actually like a little invisible button at the very top there. You go to System Config, and then you go down and you select whatever you're using here. So I'm using Game Boy Color. And then here is a bunch of settings for Game Boy and Game Boy Color itself. You can change all these for like PlayStation, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. You can have them all be different. So what you're going to want to do is slide down until you see the input section, and there's the input overlay, which is the button overlay. I have the NES Portrait whatever. So as you can see, these are all different button layouts to choose from. Like I said, I'm just going to be playing around with this, and I'll give you my recommendations. It's pretty much for you to play around with what you really want to do, because you can play this in landscape instead of portrait. So if you want it in landscape, you have to select the landscape button layout. So as you see, again, I do have the NES portrait, which works perfectly for Game Boy in my opinion. I mean, you guys could even try the actual Game Boy button layouts itself, but I like the NES portrait. That's my favorite. You can even change the opacity of the buttons, and that's about all I'm going to show you for the settings side. And we can go ahead and back out here and then click on resume game, and I'll show you that these emulators do run. They run perfectly. So there you go. As you can see, Zelda Link's Awakening is working. The button layout looks really nice in my opinion. All the button layouts are really high quality. And that's going to be pretty much all I cover in this video, guys. I just want to show you how to download a ROM, unzip it, and how to get it up and running within RetroArch. Again, for each core system, this is going to vary, so it's kind of up to you to play around with it a little bit, or just stay tuned in as I push out more tutorials. There's going to be a lot. Definitely stay tuned in for the controller setups for the PS3 controller, the Wii controller. There's much more to come. Again, everything will be down in the description of every video, so be sure to follow along with that. And that's going to be it for this tutorial, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That does help me out tremendously. Also, if you guys want to see more reviews or tutorials like this, be sure to click that subscribe button. This has been Jeremy with Everything iDevice, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.